Hey everyone, my name is Brittany Lang. I'm an eighth grade science teacher down here in Cortez, Colorado, and I'm working with my students on the Water is for Everyone project. So I created this folder to help students and teachers navigate how we can share, copy, edit, add, and enhance some of our work and our research throughout the project. So I wanted to kind of walk us through how the folder is organized and how to best teach our students how to navigate it. So the first folder embedded in this Water is for Everyone folder is our Friday sessions. Every Friday, you'll see there is a folder for each Friday. In there will be the videos, the agenda, and you'll notice today that one of my students, Madison, was able to take notes for us. So all of the information that you'll need in terms of the Friday sessions, agenda, and notes will be housed in this Friday session folder. The next folder you'll notice is the Mentor Connections folder. Inside here is all of the contacts and resources for all of our community partners. Students will be emailing and reaching out to community partners around the state, but I also wanted to make it community specific so that as students were looking at community issues as it relates to water, they had access to all the contacts. So if you go in here and you notice that your name is in there, I just went through our whole email thread and I just was pulling information, contacts, and people that you guys had mentioned as potential partners for the project. So if you don't have a website or a resource in here yet and you're the contact, just go ahead and add some resources in here. I think that this will help students kind of guide whom they should contact about specific interests as it relates to water. I also added Greg's new The Power of Mentors document. I just added a shortcut. So this is also housed in this Mentor Connections folder. So when we go back to the main folder, the next one you'll see is the podcast resources. A lot of us have kind of started to do podcasts in our classrooms. We've kind of experimented with how we can make it work. But I think that if you're like me, embarking on a statewide collaborative podcast is something new, but really, really exciting. So what I've done in here is I gave an assignment today where we were analyzing some podcasts. And so this is just a lesson plan that I did. A couple years ago, I creating a podcast direction infographic page. We'll primarily be using GarageBand as we branch into more Cortez specific podcasts, but I included that here. But you guys can imagine there are a lot of websites that we can use, that we can access to kind of help us navigate. You'll also notice that I will begin adding some folders up here. I will have students in each of my classes assigned different roles for the project. So this is the first folder that I've created, but my equipment managers, they'll be able to collaborate and help edit certain interviews in that folder. So this is kind of for students to navigate if that is their role. When we go back, this folder is the one I really wanted to talk about. So in the student resource folder, these were the 4 groups that were created today based on that initial survey that was sent out. These topics do not need to stay, they don't have to stay that title. This was just kind of the overarching themes that kind of I found in the survey. So if a student is in that fish and wildlife group, they have a place to keep track of group notes during the Friday meetings. This way that Monday through Thursday, when they are not in those Friday meetings, if questions or resources or answers in research become apparent and they don't want to lose it, those students can make copies and add the resources, the websites into this folder, but will also be able to keep a running record of all of their notes as it relates to their topic. So each group has their own folder. Okay, going into the irrigation and farming, I had 2 students kind of start to generate their ideas, and then hopefully next Friday they can kind of compile some of their ideas in the group notes. So these resources down here have just been floating around our email thread, and I just wanted to make sure the students had access to kind of the big picture and the project plan and the copy of the websites that they might be able to access. So when we go back, we'll look now in the teacher resource folder. Something that helped me as I was going through the survey is I just created a folder for each town in the teacher. So that way we know which teachers go with which corresponding school. So if, let's say, I'll go to mine, for example, I want to start making copies for my students and I want to start assigning some of those resources in my Google Classroom. We want to make a copy prior to assigning it to our students. So if you are making copies and assigning assignments to students, house it in your town, in your folder. This is kind of your autonomous folder of creating your scope and sequence throughout the week. So these are some of my resources that I have so far. So we also have a bunch of resources that teachers are adding that we might be able to use. So if you have something fun that is catered specifically to teachers, let's house it in here. But if you have something that you want all students to access, that all students can have the opportunity to investigate, let's put it then into the student resource section. If you have a specific assignment that is catered towards a specific group, for example, the fish and wildlife, go ahead and put it directly in that folder for those students to access. So I think that's about it. Here's the survey that we took. Here's all the data that we collected. It's into a spreadsheet. And then this document, Websites Worth Perusing, I made a copy. So it's here in the big folder, but it's also copied for students to access in the student resource section. So if you have any additional questions or if you have any additional ideas on how to best navigate this, please share out. Again, my name is Brittany Lang from Cortez, and it has been so much fun to start this collaborative project. I have students that are just like bursting with ideas, and I can't wait to see what they create. So let me know if this helped. Thank you very much.